Hey, what's up guys? It's Magic Addicts 2 here, and I finally have my deck collection video for you guys. So, let's get into the video. On this top shelf, we've got a bunch of Theory 11 decks. We have one open and two sealed Charity Water decks. Here we have one open, one sealed Monarchs deck. Here we've got one open, one sealed Steampunk deck. Then we have two opened and two sealed of the Deck 1 version 2. Here we've got a bunch of the Titanium decks and decks like that. We've got 3 of each color of the Tally-Ho Titanium Edition decks. We've got one of each color opened and one of each color sealed of the Bicycle Titanium Edition decks. Those are the version 1s, and we've got 2 sealed of the version 2 of these with the embossed box. Here we've got 2 of each color B Titanium Edition decks. And here we've got 3 B Stingers decks, which are one of my favorite decks from Theory 11. They're really nice. So those are the Theory 11 decks. Now, let's take a look at the Illusionist decks. Alrighty. So, to start off, we'll take a look at the Arcane decks. I have 2 white Arcanes and 5 black Arcanes back here. And I have a sealed gold Arcane deck, which is very, very rare. One of my first very rare decks. Here we've got the gold artifact coin, which is also extremely rare, very hard to find. And here I have 8 of the Infinity decks, which I love, and the box, as you can see, is beautiful. Here we have 3 Tally-Ho Viper Circleback decks, 1 open, 2 sealed, and they actually just stopped printing these. And here we've got the Shadow Masters decks. I have 2 open and 1 sealed. I also have an Illusionist wristband, which I got from the their holiday giveaway this past winter. So that's very cool. Now we'll take a look at some more Illusionist decks. Alright, so here we've got some more of the Illusionist decks. I'll show you my clips that I have. I have a Arcane Pauper clip, which is very cool, and just a regular black Pauper clip. Those are very, very helpful. And if you don't have one already, I definitely recommend that you should get it. Here we've got the Green Artifice version 2 decks. I have 3. Here we've got the Blue Artifice version 2 decks. I have 3 of these also. And I have 3 of the version 1 decks. As you can see, they don't have the white border. And 4 of the Red Artifice decks, which are extremely rare. Over here, I have a LTD deck. These were hard to find, and the only way to order them from Illusionist was to spend over, I believe, $150, and you would get this for free. So that's a very collectible deck, and I'm lucky to have it. Now let's take a look at the next row of Illusionist decks. Over here, I've got 3 Black Tiger decks. One is the black and red pips, and these 2 are sealed, and these are the white pips only, which are also out of print, but you can still get them at Illusionist, but they're running low, so get them fast. Here I've got one of each of the Series 1800 decks, which are very nice looking vintage design cards. Here we've got the black and white Ghost decks. I have 2 Black Ghost second editions and 3 White Ghost second editions. I wish I had the first edition Black Ghost, but right now I don't, but hopefully I'll be able to get my hands on those eventually. Here I've got the Bicycle Blue Gaff deck, and you can tell because all of the writing on the box is backwards, which is pretty cool. Also, I actually forgot to show you guys this. This is the Arcane Gaff deck, and you can tell because it says Ace Spade instead of Arcane right there. Here we've got the Masters decks. I have only 1 red Masters deck and 8 of the blue Masters decks, which are really nice. They last a long time, so those are great cards for a very low price. Alright, so now that we're done with the Illusionist decks, we're moving on to the decks from the Blue Crown. I've got 13 decks of the Green Crown deck, first edition, which are really cool. And I've got 6 decks of the Black Crown decks, which are also very neat. And these are sold out. They sold out extremely fast, so those are pretty rare. I've got 1 deck of the Blue Crown first edition deck, and I've got 2 white Arco decks, which I love. So that's it for now for the cards from the Blue Crown. Now below here we've got a few gimmicks and just some cards that I've picked up while traveling that aren't really very good. And I've got a duct tape card box, which is pretty cool. And I've got a brick box for bicycle cards and a few other brick boxes which are empty, but that's how I received some of my decks. So that's it for this shelf right here. And above the shelf I've got just some gimmicks, roughing spray, a few tricks, things like that. And I've got a framed uncut sheet of Monarchs playing cards from Theory 11. So that's pretty cool. They only sold, I think, 100 of these, so I'm lucky to have that. And here are the tubes for my other uncut sheets, and this one I'm still waiting to frame. That's the Deck 1 version 1 uncut sheet, which is pretty cool. So now that we've seen this side, let's take a look at the other side of my room with my decks. So on the top shelf here we've got the decks from my David Blaine variety box, which I have the case right here. And that's very neat. They only sold 250 of those, so these are very rare and collectible. I'm not exactly sure what all of these cards are, but these are the B Split Spades decks. These are the Split Spades decks. I've got the red, blue, sepia, and another sepia there. Now I've got a red White Lions deck and the UV White Lions deck over there. And we've got 2 of the blue White Lions decks and 2 of the prototype trick decks of the Bicycle Split Spades, which are very neat. Below that we've got my Dan and Dave decks. I have 4 of the Fantastique decks, which are very cool, and I've got 2 of them signed by Dan and Dave. I've also got 3 of each color of the Vintage Plaid decks, which I love. And I've got 5 of the Fulton's clip joint decks, and 2 of them are signed by Dan and Dave. You can see this one is, and the other one is behind there. I've also got a signed deck of Fulton's Chinatown decks, which are nice. And I have 14 decks of Smoke and Mirrors V6. 2 of them are signed. And you can see the custom brick box, which is awesome. Those are great decks. Alright, below there we have some of the newer companies' decks, or decks that are new to me. So I've got 4 of the style decks, which are great. And to go along with those, I have a Be Deceived wristband, which is pretty cool. From Circle City Cards, I have a Bicycle Brimstone deck, which I love, and 3 Bicycle Revision 1 decks, which are really, really cool. Next to those, I've got my Bicycle Dragonback decks. I have 1 red, 1 blue, and 2 gold. You can get those at Target, the store. So those are actually pretty inexpensive too. Here I've got my Mana deck, signed by Eric Mana, and numbered as number 14. Those were for sale and sold out very, very quickly. Here we've got my B Black Acornback decks, which I really like. They're such a long-lasting deck. They're really, really great. Below that, I've got some bicycle decks. I have about 15 standard bike decks, and here I've got some of the special ones like the Tetra deck, the breast cancer deck, there's the Black Scorpion, Eco, so a bunch of different ones, which are very cool. And I've also got the Carnival Dose decks, which are neat. I've got a few plastic decks. I have these bicycle ones, which are see-through. I've also got the Bicycle Prestige, and a deck that I picked up at an amusement park. So those are pretty cool. I've got a B deck, Aviators deck. I've got some Tally-Ho decks. And here's my old Sentinels deck, which I don't really like, but they actually just reprinted them, and hopefully they'll be a little better. On this last shelf, I've got just a few trick decks, and that's about it. Not done yet. This is a lacrosse deck. Here I've got just a bunch of DVDs and tricks. I've got Pure Smoke there too, which is pretty cool. And if we move up, you can see I have my Smoke and Mirrors V6 uncut sheet, which is signed by Dan and Dave right there. And I've got a Style Deck uncut sheet, which is very, very cool. So that is my deck collection video. I hope you enjoyed, and remember to comment, rate, and subscribe, and I will be doing more reviews soon. So thank you for watching.